Is there beef with the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers?
Hey, this is Brayden Chen.
Subscribe to Lock On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, I'm going to talk about why I am saying beef with Edmonton, previewing the Sharks game tonight. And then, of course, I want to touch on Dvorsky and the T-birds and some other prospects that I'm really liking that I feel like I haven't talked a lot about since it's been so busy with the Blues. So we have a busy episode for you today here in Locked On Blues. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I hope everybody is having a good Thursday, December 12th here. I know it's the holiday season, and there's a lot to be excited about. However, I was not excited about the Blues' loss against the Edmonton Oilers. And the only reason I want to readdress this, it's not because I want beef with the Oiler fans. I don't. I really do not. It is to shut it down. You see, the fans were booing excessively at Holloway and Philip Broberg. And I understand that anger might be so the management of the Oilers can hear it and they can kind of understand that they messed up. But I also can understand, too, in a sense, that Broberg and Holloway both did sign those offer sheets, right? It was their decision. It was Broberg's decision. I believe it was him to not, stay with Edmonton when they did offer him something earlier in the year. So I understand that frustration. I guess for me, and I'm trying to understand it, if we had a player like a Zachary Bolduc, who I feel like I want to see how many games that he has played for the St. Louis Blues, because I was trying to really compare the two situations going on right now with Edmonton and how it can maybe make it relatable for us here in the Blues. So he's played 48 games overall wearing the blue note, and I understand that these players, Broberg and Holloway, they did play more games than that, about double that. But at least in my opinion, if another team, let's go say, offered Bolduc, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just putting a hypothetical. A lot more money than he should be getting paid. I don't know if I would be upset with that player necessarily. I think I would be like, oh, well, that sucks that he doesn't want to be here. But I also think I would understand why they signed it. But for Edmonton, and this has been going on since the summer. I know I did a collab with Nick before and we talked about it. I get the frustration, okay, because your team is an older team, and I'm talking to any of those Oilers fans that are watching. But at the end of the day, I really do believe that the Oilers still have a lot of talent. Until you don't have Connor McDavid, you're going to always be a cup contending team. And that's just the facts. So I get all these comments on my videos, and it's like, oh, I'm seeing Broberg still sucks. He does not suck. Yes, he is one of our first pairing defensemen alongside with Colton Parayko, right? He's to the left, Parayko's to the right. On Edmonton, would he have been a first pairing defenseman? Absolutely not. You have Dylan Holloway, who is playing on the second line. He played on the first line too at times. Do I think in Edmonton he would be a second line type of guy? No, I do not. So, at least in my head, how I'm getting confused is if these guys were never projected to be, top players for offensive and defense, then why is there so much anger and resentment towards them? It would be one thing let's go say Leon Draisaitl decided to sign an offer sheet with another team, right? They offered him, he signed it, he wanted to do it. Okay, I get that. Like, he's a top kind of player. Like, I would be upset. If Robert Thomas, let's go say that would break my heart, honestly, because that's our best player and I would hate for him to go. But I don't think I would hold that same amount of passion or anger towards a third line type of guy or a second or third pair type of defenseman. I don't think I would have that same type of energy. And I'm not telling you how to react. I'm just trying to simply understand, because there has been a lot of negativity ever since that Oilers game with how the Oilers are treating the Blues. Somebody said that St. Louis was not a real hockey team. The St. Louis Blues are a very real hockey team. And I know that hockey, and somebody said, oh, well, she's not Canadian. She doesn't get the passion. I get the passion. I do get the passion. I think what I was trying to understand and where I was coming from was, why boo the entirety of the game? Why be so angry over two players that were never going to be top producing players for your organization? And then I'm going to get the whole thing, oh, they're still young, they could develop, you never know. Okay. Then if that was the case, then why didn't Edmonton offer them more money? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't have the money. And that's when you have to be mad at your management. I hate to say it's all about the money, but for some of these athletes, money does talk, opportunities do talk. Yes. Are the Blues a cup contending team this season? No, they're not. Are the Oilers? Yes. And I know what you're going to say, Haley, the Oilers are not even playing that well. Okay, once you get into playoff hockey, anything can happen. And the Oilers, as I said, with McDavid healthy, they're always going to be a cup contending team. Now, do I think that the next time these two teams meet, there's going to be as much chippiness on the ice? I don't know. And that's the thing. I couldn't tell you. I think that it's just a very weird situation between the two teams right now. The Oilers, by the way, they do have Kapanen. So, like, that's Sammy Kapanen's son. So I mean, like, you did get something from us. Like, I'm not telling you that you didn't, but like, you kind of did get something from us. So, like, you're welcome. But no, in all seriousness, I don't know why there's any beef between the two teams. I mean, they play again in St. Louis on February 4th, and then one last time in Edmonton on April 9th. So they will meet again twice. So on that April 9th game, by then we should kind of know who's going to be in the playoffs, right? I wonder what, you know what? I could see it going both ways. If the Blues are going in the playoffs, I could see Edmonton being, and if they are, I'm assuming that Edmonton will be. I could see Oilers fans being mad because that means that Broberg and Holloway played a big part, blah, blah, blah. Now, I could also see Edmonton fans making fun of the Blues, booing them if the Blues don't make it into the playoffs, because they can be like, oh, well, with our guys, you know, the team still missed the playoffs. Like, I could see it going both ways, actually. Now, when I think Edmonton comes home to St. Louis February 4th, how do I think that's going to be? I think our fans are very passionate and cool. I don't think there's going to be much negativity. I mean, like, what else do we need from Edmonton at this point besides getting a couple points out of them? I just feel like this beef between the two teams, it's done with. It was huge drama over the summer. I was on Edmonton radio, like Edmonton radio, and I do sports talk radio. I was on Edmonton radio. I'm used to talking football on the radio. No, Edmonton radio, it's all hockey. So I mean, that was cool. But yeah, I think that we can both agree that it is done. It's in the past. Two passionate hockey cities. I know how passionate Edmonton is, but I guess for me, it just didn't make sense why there was so much anger when it wasn't going to be a top producing player for you. I know that they were still drafted in the first round, and I know that these were prospects that you Edmonton fans might have liked. I just personally had a really hard time kind of understanding the anger because I just feel like that's directed at the wrong, person. Let's go talk about Indeed. If you need a hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. One thing that I love about Indeed is that it is leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day. Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hire? You need Indeed. So the St. Louis Blues and those San Jose Sharks played tonight. And like always, I love to give you my predictions. I think that honestly, at the end of the day, San Jose has been playing quite tough. They've always been a problem for St. Louis. With Celebrini, I always get a little bit nervous because he has actually been playing really well, setting up good plays. The thing is about San Jose is I can make the hand pass jokes as many times as I possibly can, and it's not going to change the fact that San Jose beat us all 3 games last season. So for that, I'm going to be quiet. And then it almost didn't go our way last time we played them. We still won barely. But I hope that the Blues can get a regulation win against the Sharks tonight. Again, we shall see. So, anyways, Coach Montgomery said following Tuesday's win, I thought we played a really good game against Vancouver. Maybe our most competitive game of the year. So, I think that it's one of those things is that the Blues came out of a really good game against the Vancouver Canucks. By the way, that was a 4-3 overtime win. The Blues at one point were leading 3-1. Unfortunately, though, the Canucks did come back and were able to tie up that game. So that is how that game went into overtime. But Broberg Holloway, yes, he did score that OT winning goal. So before I dive into the game and the lines and all that fun stuff, the Sharks, they're on a 3-game losing streak. They beat the Capitals, and the Capitals, by the way, are one of the best teams in the NHL. They beat them 2-1, and the last time that the Sharks won was on December 3rd, so 9 days ago. They lost 8-1 to the Lightning. They lost 3-1 to the Panthers, which kept it kind of close considering that this was the defending Cup champs. And then against the Canes, this past Tuesday, they lost in a close game. It was a 3-2 win for Carolina, so not so good. However, this is the Blues' potential to get back on the winning side of things. They had a win in Vancouver, and they played the Sharks tonight, so they're hoping to kind of get back into that groove of winning yet again. And for the Blues, by the way, after the Sharks, then they play those Stars on Saturday, and we know how tough that will be. Those two teams battle. And then they will play the Rangers. Like, there's a lot of hockey that the Blues will be playing against some, maybe the Rangers are not the tough kind of team, but the Devils. So yeah, there's a lot of competitiveness coming up soon for the St. Louis Blues. Anyways, let's talk about this lineup tonight. So this is the projected lineup for tonight's game against San Jose. So centering in the first line, like always, it is Robert Thomas to his left. It's Bushi to his right. It's Jordan Kyrou. On the second line, centering, it is Captain Braden Shen. On the left, it's Brandon Saad. On the right, J.K. Neighbors. Finally, the third line, we have Sonny centering with Dylan Holloway on the left and Zach Bolduc on the right. Fourth line, it is Nathan Walker centering. Then on the left, it is Alexi. On the right, Matthew Joseph. For defense tonight, we have Philip Broberg and Colton Parayko, Ryan Suter, Justin Falk, and then P.O. Joseph and Matthew Kessel. And then in net, it is Jordan Binnington. So a lot of good things. So by the way, I don't know why I didn't mention this in my last episode because I thought about it as soon as I uploaded it. So essentially, Faksa didn't return to Tuesday's game because he had a skate blade cut in the third period. And he will not be playing tonight. So that is why coach said Faksa is doing well, not a player tonight, but most likely a player on Saturday against Dallas. So Walker, that's why he is shifting into that position, by the way. So yeah. So everything on defense is the same. Obviously no Scott Perunovich again. How do I feel about that? I mean, listen, that was me just talking to myself, which is this whole podcast. No, but I'm talking to you. I feel like Perunovich could be one of those players that gets traded. And I know that sounds crazy and outlandish because they extended him for a year, but there is a part of me that does think with him not being consistently in the lineup, it's different for Nathan Walker. Walker's a bit older, and I feel like he kind of knows what his role is. It's for moments like this. I just feel like the Blues could get something more. Maybe even, I just don't even know. Like, even if it's a draft pick, I just feel like that could have some more value while they can. I don't know. It's just a weird situation because I do like Scott Perunovich. It's not that I don't. I just have a really hard time kind of understanding what their plan with him is. So for me, it just makes it really tough. But tonight, I think Robert Thomas, by the way, I'm going to tell you my goal scorers and I'll move on to my next segment. I could go on about this Perunovich thing. Robert Thomas has had 13 points in 10 games since he came back from injury. I think he's going to score tonight. Also, call me crazy because I'm good at predicting things. I think Philip Broberg's going to get a goal tonight. I kind of have a feeling. I don't know. He was a little bit aggressive around the net in the last game. And I just feel like it's going to come. I know that, Kyger's been scoring, which is great. I know Zach Bolduc, J.K. Neighbors, obviously Dylan Holloway. But I really feel like Philip Broberg is kind of just due. It's like in baseball. I do this a lot, like, when they're due for a homer or they're due, that's how I feel sometimes about hockey. So I think this is going to be a close game. Whenever it's against San Jose, it is never an easy game lately. So I think it's going to be a 4-3 Blues win in regulation. I think that the Sharks, they have talent, and I've talked about that before. It doesn't necessarily make me feel good at all about just how close they really were against some of the other good teams. I mean, I think if they didn't play as well, against the Canes and the Panthers even, I would feel a little bit more confident. But they did beat the Washington Capitals. And I did watch that game, actually, because I thought it was going to be an easy win for the Capitals. And it wasn't. And I don't even like the Capitals. I just thought it was going to be an easy win. But the Capitals have 40 points. I mean, they have 19 wins and 6 losses and 2 OTLs. And San Jose is one of the Capitals' OTLs, which is absolutely madness. But again, the Sharks, say what you want about them. I know they're not a great team, But, I mean, they do have 5 OTL, so they are taking teams to overtime, which we know. So, I don't know. We'll see how tonight goes. I would not be surprised either way. I'm saying that for my own safety. So, in case San Jose fans want to come at me because I made fun of you guys last season, my bad. Let's go talk about my friends over at PrizePicks, okay? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions in award winnings. PrizePicks has made your daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just have to pick more or less than at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And you can run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, okay? You can make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks. PrizePicks now offers MasterCard for quick, easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in awards during Prize Picksmas. Get it? Me too. I love PrizePicks. This week I'm picking and I'm looking at hockey. So I'm going to have Jack Hughes for more than 4 shots on goals and Panarin for more than 1 assist. So this is what you need to do. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. So let's talk about our Thunderbirds. So I have not talked about the T-birds in quite a while, and for that I am sorry, but they are in the Atlantic Division, by the way, and they have played 22 games this season, okay? They have 12 wins, 9 losses, and 1 OTL. They are sitting in 4th right now. Above them is the Providence Bruins. Above the Bruins is the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. And then at top is the Hershey Bears. So they're doing pretty well. Now, when you have the whole entire Eastern Conference, that's when it gets a little bit like iffy. They're 10th. Yeah. So it's not great. However, it's not bad. Okay. But I do have to say, I am really liking what I am seeing out of Dvorsky. I think that he is one of those players that is just so good. I mean, he's getting them overtime wins. Like, he has 10 goals, 8 assists, and 18 points for this season. Listen, 10th overall pick in the 2023 NHL draft. And this is his first season in North America. So, I mean, he did have a really good season, right, last year with the in the OHL with the Sudbury Wolves. But I mean, in the 55 games there, he produced 88 points with 45 goals and 43 assists. So, I mean, again, it just goes to show how well-rounded he is. But I made a tweet and I'm like, he's ready to come up. And I'm kind of joking. I'm kind of not. Um, yeah, like, do I want to see him come up? Absolutely. Do I think he's ready? No, but at times I'm like, why not? Another player I want to talk about is Simon Robertson. Hasn't played a lot, okay? He was a 3rd round pick in 2021. And this guy, I have to tell you, he's Swedish, which is really cool considering, some of the Swedish touch that we have here. But he enters his 4th season in North American hockey. He's only played 6 games, so he's only scored 1 goal, so he has 1 point. But again, he's a player that I'm always interested in watching. I feel like that he just has a lot of potential, so I like to see him. And it's funny because some of these guys, like, I feel badly for saying it, but I kind of have a feeling that we may not see more out of them, like Nikita Alexandrov. I don't know if we're going to see more out of him. Zach Dean. I know we've talked about him. Sam Bidden. I like Sam Bidden, though. And that's like the thing. There was Tanner Dickinson. Tanner Dickinson, though, he's an interesting one, right? Because he was a 4th-round pick in the 2020 draft, and he missed all of the 2022-2023 season recovering from a broken femur that he got in the OHL with the Greyhounds the year prior. But, I mean, honestly, he had a really good season in the 2021-2022 season in the OHL. But this season, he's only played 16 games with 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. I mean, I think that the Blues, I think they do have, like, good prospects, right? Like a guy that we saw this season that even came up, who I'm a really big fan of, Corey Shenneman, right? Listen, he's older, yes, 100% agree, but it's good that the Blues can utilize him if they need to, and he did fine when he played up for us. I mean, obviously, it's not an ideal situation, but it's not, like, the worst thing in the world to have him, right? Tyler Tucker being down there does make me feel sometimes a little upset. And then Vadim and then Colton Ellis. Like, we have good goalies, but Hunter Skinner is another interesting one too. Because here's the thing. Hunter Skinner, okay, he was a 4th-round pick in the 2019 draft to the Rangers, and he's basically the one that sent Vladimir Tarasenko to New York, so that's how you might know him. He did lead the team with 94 penalty minutes last season, which wasn't great, and he only had 10 points in 50 games, so it wasn't great. But he is one of those guys that does play a tough game, so that's what I do like about him on defense. And he is a right-handed defenseman, so not bad. But I want to do an episode where I talk about maybe some of the guys that are not even playing for the Thunderbirds that are making headwaves. But yeah, obviously Dvorsky's the big guy on the T-birds that's going to make the most impact for the Blues. But yeah, sometimes seeing some of those guys, it just makes me a little bit bummed out because they had so much potential here, but sometimes things just don't work out. All right. Enjoy the hockey tonight. I will talk to you tomorrow. Let me know if you want more of this draft talk, my everydayers, or not draft talk, but like prospect talk. All right. And I will see you later. And like always, let's go Blues.